Hello, this is Simone. This is my second video in my reflections video on 2018, and today I am looking back at my journaling journey of 2018. I started very ambitious and I have used lots of journals. I'll show you where this went and what I continued and where I left off, and what I have learned for 2019. At the end of this video, I also will show you what I'm going to use in 2019, but I will also have another separate video just sharing about the things I will use in 2019. So let's start. In the beginning of the year, I started with this standard traveler's notebook. I purchased the 2018 vertical weekly inserts from the Tokyo Pen Shop, and I used them for weekly journaling. And I'm going to flip through this soon, but so that was one thing I did. I really was able to keep up for a very long time. So this is June and it's still going strong. Then I slacked a little, but I was able to catch up. So July, August, and September is the last. So the week 39, September 24th to September 30th was the last spread that I created in this notebook. And then I started journaling in a mini Daisy Dory. And so I wasn't able to keep up with this. I also started out the year with B6 inserts. This is a Daisy Dory from March, Cocoa Daisy, Daisy Dory. I used this to simply print out the top 9 Instagram photos each month. I used an app called Like Meter for this, and after the month was over, usually on the 1st, I created this image, I saved it, I printed it and put it in here, and then I also not only included favorites, but things that happened to me on social media for design teams, like I was on the Cocoa Daisy Planner team again. These are my favorites for 2008, for February. Then I was going to be a guest designer for Pretty Little Studio. I reached 2,000 followers on Instagram. I was, Amy Tangerine commented on one of my photos on Instagram. And that's when I left off. I was a guest designer for Feed Your Craft, so I put those here, but I haven't really added I printed the photos, I just did not stick them into my notebook, and I don't really know if I will ever do that, but it's there. I could if I wanted to. Then in May, I started the challenge, the journaling challenge for Cocoa Daisy that we shared on as the Cocoa Daisy Planner Challenge. It was journal every day in May, and I went pretty strong with this, and I went all the way to the prompt when I grow up, which is prompt number 21, but I still need to finish prompt number 22 and prompt number 31. Through prompt number 31, I still have the papers, everything to finish this, and I have been thinking about maybe pulling this out in May and just continuing where I left off as a journal every day in May challenge for May 2019. Because this project, I really put so much thought into this and I really loved it, and I would love to finish it, but I just don't want to pressure myself into doing it, and so maybe saving it for May and just going to doing it again and finishing this. There's only 9 prompts that need to be finished. This could be something that I can do. Well, 10. 5, and 5. So 10 prompts are left. That is like every third day I would need to draw in May to finish this. Sounds doable. Then this is the April Daisy Dory in B6 size. I started as a knitting journal. I picked up my knitting needles. Then again, when I was in Santa Cruz for vacation with my sons, I decided I wanted to start knitting socks, and so I picked up a ball of yarn and some needles and started casting on a sock, and I decided to create or make a knitting and sewing journal, and I just posted in the shop cards and wrote down how many stitches I cast on and what how much the yarn cost, what type of yarn it is, and what needles I'm using, when I started it, and when I'm going to finish. I haven't finished this one yet. I put it onto 2 at a time socks, circular needles, and I'm working my way through this. I'm still working on it. Then I started these socks in 2014. I have one finished. I have a one sock syndrome, and so I started this sock on April, the second one on April 20th, 2018. Still hasn't grown very much from here, but I'm hopeful. And then, yeah, so I just took photos, knitting photos, and whenever I took knitting photos, I just put them in here. I cast on another pair of 2 at a time socks, and then I sewed some bags. I put down the measurements and instructions for different kinds of pouches, more knitting, and that's where I'm at right now. I really like that this is very open. It's not something I need to finish whenever I want to. I want to add my sewing projects if I have any in here as well. And whenever I'm done with this insert, I'm just going to use another one, and whatever it's going to be in B6 size. I really like this size for these kinds of journals. So what I learned from this is that I really love the B6 size for something like that. So that's the successful, not so successful story of those inserts. And then I started another thing, or continued another thing here. This is a smash book that my husband brought me maybe in 2013. I started it, I don't know when. Yeah, I must have used it here. This is January 2015. I had goals for 2015 in here, and then I didn't use it anymore. And I decided to add more and use this kind of like an art journal, a junk journal. I haven't really done much in here as well. I put down a quote, and I put down things I think I want to put in here, but I haven't worked on it a lot. There are some snippets in here that I put down, like stamps, this acetate I thought looked good here. I put down these here, maybe I want to add them here, don't know really. Put down a postcard. I wrote this, and I think what I'm just going to do is keep it until it's finished, and again, not force what I'm going to do or not do in here. So yes, let me continue with sharing what I did. So even though I really like having different journals and having them separated by topic, like this favorites one or the journaling challenge, there's only so much that I can do. And since I want to do Project Live journal or do these kinds of logs and journals, write in a notebook, scrapbook, do videos, knit, sew, all of these things, I just realized that I cannot do or force myself do these kinds of things all the time. So with this challenge, this worked really well for a time, but then I wasn't able to journal in this one, which was dated, which is where I'm getting to right now. Or when I started these, I really love the size. I loved how this turned out. I have a flip through, so I combined then the currently that I did in a separate album, which died in March, I think. I then reclaimed and started again in October. I used this to put all the photos and poems and things that I found in here that just concerned me, which led to, and then did these kinds of logs, which led to, first of all, me not continuing with this journal. And also, which also led, since this was so time consuming, even though it was very small and very doable and you could do a lot at a time, there's still only this much time, so project life got to be on the back burner. And that showed me that I need to change a few things, which are, so this is the October one. I have one for November. It turned out really great. I love what it looks like. I am still working on the December one. I don't have that many photos, and the photos that are in here don't have any words just yet. So that's what's happening in here. I'm almost done. The only thing that I still need to log is December 31st, which was yesterday. And so this is, even though it's very doable, very small and very tiny, it still uses time. And since I'm working now, I just don't have that much time on my hands anymore as I did before, which leads me to the realization, the things that I learned. I don't want to do too many projects in 2019. I hope that the ones that I chose for 2019 aren't too many. I will find out when I start doing them, but it wouldn't have been really bad to just stop here and call it done. No, the thing is, this is dated, and so even though I have accomplished so much, it's still, since the dates are October 10 through December 31st of 2018, they still look at me and make me feel like a failure. And I really have a hard time processing or seeing the accomplishment over the failure that it screams. And this is one of the things that I'm going to change in 2019. I am not going to use a dated journal for my log, as well as for my journal, which I'm still, this is the last thing that I started in 2018, is a word journal. I had some mental issues in 2018, and because, did I say that already? I tore my ACL in January, and that made me see how vulnerable I am, and I started to get a lot of anxiety about that fact. And also, yeah, I have a teenager who is living his greatest teenage life, and yeah, brought so much mental things to, so much anxiety to me, that I needed an outlet, which I didn't share very much of on social media. And which I also didn't decorate because this was more about a creative outlet and not so much about processing my brain, my life, me, the things that go around in my head. And in August or on September 1st, when the Hobonichi lineup for 2019 was released, I had been wanting to try the Hobonichi for 3 years now, but I never found a reason why I should, because as you can see, I had been doing so many things and wanted to do so many things. There was never time for or a place for the Hobonichi. And so I thought, well, why don't I try this as kind of a therapeutic documentation or therapeutic instrument to just journal 1 page per day, let it all out, put stuff that is going through my head, that is making me feel anxious onto these pages, and use decoration if I have some, and if I don't have that, just not. And to see if I can use a Hobonichi. This is one that I was gifted by my friend Anna, and yeah, I was going strong all the way through September, October, and when I started working, I suddenly didn't have time. I was tired at night and I didn't use this journal. I didn't have time to think, which is great. So I didn't have any anxiety issues or things that I was concerned about. So I didn't have to write them down, but I had already purchased a Hobonichi, and towards the end of November, I noticed that I was really missing the ability to just put down things that go through my mind. And so I started it back up and found that I really still liked it. However, I had pages where I just didn't write. And that again in itself gave me anxiety and another thing of failure, because yeah, it is so obvious that I didn't journal. Here I just tried lettering the same quote over and over again with different pens just to see how they worked. But I didn't journal on that day, I didn't journal on that day, and I didn't journal on a day before. I think I wrote it 3 times. I can't find it right now. Which, here, probably? Yes, here. So I wrote this quote 3 times, but you can see there's lots of empty pages, and that again made me very aware that maybe a dated journal wouldn't be the greatest idea. And so I sold the Hobonichi that I purchased for 2019 again, and purchased a Stalogy notebook that is not dated. I just kept my cover that I purchased as well, and I'm just going to use it as a daily journaling. And if I'm not journaling daily, it just won't show. Now, I know that there's people who do not have problems with empty pages. I am not one of those. And so instead of supporting or just not feeling good about empty pages, I just decided to go the other route and give myself, let myself feel better about myself, because I know that going in that this will make me feel bad. And I know that I can fill up the pages. This is also clear to me, and my rational mind knows all of this. However, sometimes you just cannot change the way you feel about certain things, and this is the way I'm going for 2019. Same thing for my Travels notebook. I did not purchase dated inserts, so I want to continue with the logs that I started in October. These pages right here, these ones right here, and just not with a monthly notebook that I need to decorate. I am going to have this insert right here. There were some pages in the front. I'm just going to show them to you here. These blank ones and these monthly calendars right here that I am not going to use, and so I decided to cut down the Cocoa Daisy Mini Daisy Dory and use those on the, glue them into this notebook and use those on those pages. And I have them dated until the 13th, and I'm going to work on the rest of the pages. I hopefully will do this all year long, and my intention is that. But if I am not feeling a week, if I'm not here for a week, if I just don't want to do it, I do not have an empty page. I can leave off on a Sunday and pick this up 3 months later on a Monday, and nobody will know that there's a whole gap if they don't look as closely. I really like doing it that way. I don't need to have empty pages reminding me of not doing things. Maybe I will find something different, and if I find something else that is exciting, I then can just leave this and go do something else and come back to this when this is exciting again. And I really like that freedom that I am creating for myself. Can't wait how this goes. I really feel like this takes a lot of pressure off myself. And yes, I know that this pressure is created by me, but obviously, since I have experience with me and I've been living with myself for 42 years, this is a big thing at the moment, pressure. And I want to take as much pressure off myself and just enjoy what I'm doing. So that is it for journaling. What I want to do with these pages is I have created several of those journaling pages right here like this. If I ever feel the need to create something like that, I'm just going to fill up this notebook and put it down here or here. I'm going to continue using this as my knitting journal and this as my journaling challenge for May. And maybe I'm just going to take this one out and putting it away so I'm not reminded of the unfinished notebook. I hope this was helpful for you. I hope you were able to see my journey in 2018 and what I am drawing from all of these things that I created. I realized that this notebook is awesome, but I won't be able to do this every month. It was great for 3 months, and there's still room for the last notebook that I'm just going to pop in here, and then I have 3 months worth of awesome mini journals. I want to add these kinds of things that I documented right here just into my Project Life album then, and then maybe that one is growing a bit more in 2019, which is totally okay with me. I'm not using dated journals for just taking off pressure, and I'm going to continue logging, which I just enjoy doing that. I'm going to continue journaling, and yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful for you. If it did, please tell me what you're going to use in 2019, what you learned from 2018, and how you are going to address it in 2019. I hope to see you soon. Until then, bye.